Hi everyone, today I will explain about Tyche. In Greek mythology, Tyche is the goddess and personification of good luck, chance, and fortune. Tyche's popularity grew after the classical period when many cities and officials across the Greek world and the Mediterranean adopted her as their patron deity and sacrifices were made at her shrines. Her popularity endured for hundreds of years. Tyche was represented in many forms of art and was instantly recognizable by her mural crown and the rudder and cornucopia she held. Various writers describe her as all-powerful and wise. Her Roman counterpart is the goddess, Fortuna. Birth and family. According to Hesiod in his Theogony, Tyche was one of the many daughters of the Titans Oceanus and Tethys and a sister to many, including the Oceanids Electra, Urania, Metis, Styx, goddess of the underworld, and Calypso. As a daughter of Oceanus, Tyche was said to have a connection with the water, which is evident in the rudder she holds in artistic representations of her. Other sources claim that she was the daughter of Zeus, even though she is mentioned as his cousin in the Theogony. The goddess of fortune, luck, and chance. Although Tyche was recognized early on, she became a fully developed goddess during the Hellenistic period. Tyche's rise in popularity showed that the ancient Greeks believed that chance and luck govern their lives. Her popularity was seen in the widespread practice of dedicating cities to her during the Hellenistic and Roman periods, with the only exception being Athens, which already had its patron deity in Athena. Tyche was the default explanation for anything unrelated to the Olympian deities. The Greeks believed that every place, city, and state had its own Tyche closely connected with the welfare of a particular city. She was the constant force that regulated their lives, and people either invoked her for her help or disparaged her, depending on their personal circumstances. The gods were even said to have accepted her commands. She was usually depicted as a benevolent goddess who caused feelings of well-being and happiness in the people who worshipped her. Tyche gained even more political importance after the death of Alexander the Great and the upheaval that followed it, with the establishment of new Hellenistic cities being established across Egypt and Asia Minor. Tyche in written sources. Some writers referred to Tyche as a goddess, but most depicted her as an impersonal Tyche, a quality rather than a real identity. Tyche was often used to describe historical events, and she personified events like pirate attacks, shipwrecks, slavery, and chance occurrences. One of the earliest mentions of Tyche can be found in Pindar's, circa 518 to circa 438 BCE, Olympian Odes, where she is implored to help Ergoteles of Himera as she competed in the long race. I beseech you, daughter of Zeus the deliverer, watch over Himera and extend her strength, O Savior Fortune. For you are she by whom swift ships at sea are guided, and on land both sudden turns of war and policies in council. So men's hopes and fears, tossing now up, now down, cleaving through vain illusions, ride and roll. In the Homeric hymn to Demeter, Tyche is portrayed as a Nereid, sea nymph. The hymn mentions how Tyche and her sisters were playing with Persephone in a meadow before her violent abduction by Hades. The ancient historian Polybius, circa 208 to 125 BCE, reflects on the influence of Tyche, who had the power to inflict bad fortune and anger on questionable leaders, just like divine providence could. In Pausanias, 115 to 180 CE, description of Greece, he takes a great interest in Tyche, visiting many of her sanctuaries across Greece. He lamented the decay of Megalopolis and admitted that all things were being changed by Tyche according to her whims. He stated that Alexandria and other cities, on the other hand, had reached great prosperity, despite being new cities, because Tyche favored them. In ancient Greek theater, Tyche was often the cause of unexpected outcomes, a sudden disaster or a welcome last-minute reprieve. She was addressed in a polite and indirect manner to encourage her to bring good luck. Menander, 342–291 BCE, the Greek dramatist, used Tyche as a narrator for the prologue in his play The Shield, where she announces that there will be a surprise ending. He referred to her as a blind goddess. However, it seems to be more indicative of her unpredictable and indiscriminate nature rather than any physical disability. In Euripides, circa 484–407 BCE, play Cyclops, he used Tyche as a personification after Odysseus invoked Hephaestus in sleep, Hypnos, to help him bind the Cyclops successfully. He stated that if the gods failed to answer his call for help, he would regard Tyche as a divinity and as someone who was more powerful than the gods. Worship as Tyche of the Polis. Tyche was widely worshipped in many cities across the ancient Mediterranean. The cult of Tyche was established in ancient Greece in the 5th or 6th century BCE and appeared across the rest of the Mediterranean during the 4th century BCE. In his description of Greece, Pausanias mentions seeing temples dedicated to Tyche in the Greek cities of Elis, Megara, Sicyon, and Tegea. In addition, her sanctuary in Alexandria was supposedly so beautiful that no other temple in the Hellenistic world could surpass it. Tyche also had temples in Caesarea, modern-day Israel, Antioch, modern-day Turkey, Constantinople, modern-day Turkey, and Palmyra, modern-day Syria. In Selgey, modern-day Turkey, the high priest of the Tyche cult held office for life. In Mytilene, Lesbos, Greece, Tyche was known as the Great Tyche of Mytilene. In Trapezopolis, a city in Caria, she was known as the Great Goddess in defense of the city.